Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to the final First Division review show of the season. We had 4 games last Friday night, a lot of goals in them. Nothing was up for grabs, to be honest, but obviously there was a bit of a celebration in Cork, apparently. Was there, Gavin? I believe there was a celebration. Is that right?
Yeah, just a
Something
small.
happened in Cork?
Yeah, there was. There was a birthday party in Turner's Cross. Yeah, yeah, first birthday party.
We'll get on with, you know what? We'll leave Cork to last. Why not, Keith? We'll leave them to last. Let's get on to Galway and Longford. And I thought this was hilarious, this result, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, there's no highlights out at this moment, so we haven't been able to see the highlights. But the fact that it finished Galway 3, Longford 3, and they obviously play each other in the playoffs upcoming, it was almost like, it feels like, lads, just go out there and play. 6 goals, 3 all. Means nothing. I'm sure it was entertaining for both sets of fans, but it's going to mean nothing when the playoff semi-final comes along. But Rob Manley grabbing a few goals, Keith, which is probably, excuse me, very good for Galway, because we spoke how he hasn't been scoring goals for them. Whether he'll play or not in the final is another question, or in the semi-final, I should say. But an interesting game, that one.
Yeah, I mean, you could visibly see, Keith, from the two teams that were put out, that it didn't really mean anything. Where's he gone? It didn't really mean anything to either team, that the more important game is obviously Wednesday next week. So, yeah, you can't really say anything about it, can you? You can't say, oh, well, someone has the we're better than the other team or whatever. It was completely two different teams that are going to play on Wednesday night and next week. So, but entertaining for neutral, for sure. 3-all draw.
I do see O'Brien, though, did score for Longford Town. I know that there's been a lot of talk about that young player down there as well, but he's kind of been in and out this season, really. He hasn't been really in the team, hasn't he not? But I've heard about him for a couple of seasons now. So you're looking for Matthew to, I suppose, kick on. But as you say, it's unlikely he probably plays, isn't it, in the semi-final? I keep saying final, but the semi-final.
Yeah. There was. I think I counted 4 or 5 players that will definitely be involved for Longford. Same for Galway. So, yeah, but look, if he's scoring goals, if he's scoring against Galway, he's obviously handy to bring off the bench if they need be, So, but I was speaking to the Longford goalkeeping coach last week, and I was asking with Darren Craven. Darren Craven's out till next year, unfortunately, for Longford. So he won't be back for the playoffs, which is a big shame because he's a big loss for Longford.
Yeah, Gavin, in the end, Galway finished 3rd in the league, 4 points adrift of Waterford, and there's no way we would have seen that coming, I'd say, a couple of months ago. So it's really tailed off for them, hasn't it?
Yeah, Keith, I suppose. When, I remember, didn't we come back, I suppose, maybe 2 months ago, maybe, and I think, didn't they have an opportunity to either draw a level or go ahead of Cork City that time? And I think they drew a treaty, I think it was, or something like that. It was like 2-all, and then they lost the Cove. I think they were around the same time, and I think when they had the chances to take advantage in the league, they just didn't. And as you said, obviously, look, I suppose John Caulfield will be kind of himself and the board will be trying to see whether he's going to stay around or not, So I'd say it's quite disappointing. And I suppose, look, the Comer brothers were obviously expecting Galway to go up, seeing as they're investing in the club, and they're pumping money into the club. So I suppose from their point of view, they might see it as a bit of a failure in that sense, that they didn't go up automatically and win the league. I suppose from the positive there from the game the other night, I see they're all right, Galway. I think they had 4 young fellas made debuts the other night. I think I see that. So I suppose, look, from that point of view, at least for young fellas to be given a chance, like the other night was the time to do it. Look, and hopefully they have bright futures ahead of them.
Yeah, we couldn't have a final First Division show of the season without talking about Jack Doherty, and he managed to score in Wexford's 2-0 win in Treaty after 10 minutes. Denny Corcoran scored as well. But look, a good win for Wexford. Look, Treaty were in the playoffs. In the end, it was only 3 points between them in the table, but we spoke about this before, how disappointing Wexford would be in terms of not being able to go ahead of Treaty, in the last day. But Treaty, obviously they have other worries as well, but Waterford coming down the line as well. And but yeah, Jack Doherty, I suppose, we'll let Gavin talk about this. Will be scoring on the last day of the season. And I suppose, Gavin, in all honesty, though, do you genuinely think Wexford can keep him next season?
I don't think so, Keith. I suppose I suppose, look, it depends on what he works at and what he does outside of, being involved with the club. But like there is potential from there. And like I say, like I think I know it's easy to say that, and I suppose I've been watching him for a lot of the season, and he has obviously impressed because he's got a lot of goals and assists, and he is a nice ball player. So, like I do think it'd be worth a punt at City buying him, Cork City, if they could bring him to Cork City. I think he'd be worth bringing down for next season. But I suppose, look, it'll probably be down to him and the club and see what his plans are for the future. But I mean, if Wexford do hold on to him, he's a huge asset, and I mean, as we've been saying over the couple of weeks there when he was injured there, probably for the bones of 5 or 6 weeks. There's no doubt about it that Wexford missed him, and I mean he was back in the team 2 or 3 weeks, probably the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think he score 2 out of 3 games there, I think, and assisted 1, and so like to be fair to him, his ability, like, and like I said last week, fair play to him as well, because he only got his private jet back from the Ballon d'Or. He just came runners up to Karim Benzema, like, so he was
sorry
very
about that. I voted for Karim Benzema. I know he won by 1, wasn't it?
I did too,
sorry
as well. To be fair,
apologise.
I did too as well. To be fair, like, but at least Jack came second anyway, and he'll be up there next year with Kevin De Bruyne to win it next year.
No doubt about it. Ahead of Haaland anyway. Yeah, Keith, it looks like Ian Ryan's going to be there next season, which is a good thing for Wexford. He's turned down jobs essentially. Well, let's say turned down jobs. He was linked with the Waterford job, and I know he spoke to them. I'm not sure if he turned it down, but he certainly turned down the Bohemians job. That's absolutely factual. So look, he'll be there next season, and I suppose it'll be interesting to see what he can do there during the off season with them.
He's definitely looking to bring a few players in, Keith. I mean, as I said last week, they have the nucleus of a good squad there. So if they can hang on to their good players, the likes of Jack Doherty, Luka ticks the midfield over. Aidan Friel has played well at right back this season. Considine, I mentioned all these players already, and Rob Manny's brother Joe has been pretty solid at the back for them as well. So, I mean, if they can hang on to them players, like, I don't know what Dinny Corcoran's plans are. He'd be good to have around the squad, given his experience and stuff like that. But I don't know what his plans are. Aaron Dobbs, obviously, they'll be looking to hang on to him as well. So, look, all in all, overall disappointing for Wexford that they didn't reach the playoffs, but a good kind of 3/4 of the season for them. And it was fantastic to see the other night that the travelling fans that went down from Wexford were all given a free jersey, which is fantastic from the club, and it's great.
I went myself if I had known I would have got free jersey, especially their pink one, Keith.
It's a great connection though to have with the community, So, and there looked like there was a good 30 fans there from Wexford in what was, let's be honest, a nothing game. So fair play to them.
Can I just say something? So, if Jack is watching this, can I have his jersey, please? Thanks very much. If he wants to post it, I'll give him the postcode.
Wouldn't fit you.
You know what? I'll actually I'll crop. I promise you, I'll crop this out and actually send it to him. Done deal. We won't even talk about Treacy, to be honest, guys. But go on. He wants to say something. Go on, Gavin.
No, just alluding to what Keith said. Actually, to be fair as well to Wexford, who was very good. He just said it there as Rob Marney's brother. I think, does he wear number 5 for them? Is he centre half? Is he?
Yeah, very dark-haired fella. He's very jet black hair.
He was actually outstanding a couple of weeks ago on the cross as well. It was one thing I noticed. He cleared a lot of balls when City were kind of putting Wexford under pressure. He won a lot of balls there centre half. And the 2 games I've watched him, actually, he to be fair to him, he was excellent as well from. So give credit where it's due to him as well. He was very good at centre half.
He's a brother of Rob, in case you didn't know. Rob Manley of Galway, just in case you didn't know, they're brothers.
I didn't know until Peter said it there. But to be fair to him, he's to give credit to him, he was outstanding a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah. Treacy, I think we'll leave them for the playoff show, to be fair. Not much to say in them, to be honest with you. Waterford 4, Athlone 2, and of course, Waterford finished the season with goals. Athlone had to finish the season with goals. I think me and Keith said 3-1 before 2, you know what I mean? Didn't really surprise us, did it? Wazima 2, Patterson, I'll get on to him in a minute, actually, Junior. Lennon again for Athlone and Jones, but they won 5 in their own, the league, Waterford as well. Finished second, 4 points behind Cork. 4 points out of Galway. They're definitely the team to watch, in my opinion, in the playoffs. And Phoenix Patterson's finished the season as top scorer with 17 goals, and he's not even a striker, Keith.
Yeah, it's mad. I was looking at the Galway team the other night, and Stephen Wallace was on the bench, and like I know it's kind of a nothing game, but you want to be you kind of for personal
I think so.
credit, you want to be finishing. But like Patterson, he'll probably get the first division player of the year. That's harsh on a lot of Cork City players, because a lot of Cork City players have been good. They've obviously won the league, but I think Patterson, my God, like what a player! And
he's too good for the first division. I don't care what anyone says. Far too good, and he's even showed it. I've seen him in Premier Division games, Keith, and I've thought, gee, he could play for one of the top Premier Division teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And like some of his goals this season have been absolutely stunning. From distance, he's taken on players in some of them, and to score 17, it's actually
that's just a stat of the goals he scored, but what he offers in general, like dribbling ability, wit, coming inside, creative play as well. So it's not just the goals, isn't it? Not that makes him the good player he is. Like
100%. And typical games, if you're 1-0 up and you're trying to hold on to a 1-0 win, he can just take the ball into the corner, and he could hang on to the ball and stuff like that. So yeah, his dribbling skills are fantastic, and he played all right against Shelbourne in the cup as well.
I thought he did personally. Yeah, I thought he tried really, really hard. I saw another side of him actually when things were going against him. He and Shelbourne had 2 or 3 on him at times, and he kept fighting. Like, so that shows another side of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure if you speak to Gavin, he'd be more than happy to take him to Cork City next season for the Premier, and he would only improve Cork City. Like, obviously, just
the
players
Waterford fans wouldn't like that though.
They wouldn't, but like if Waterford stay in the first division, Patterson won't be around. I can't see him staying around for the second stint in the first division, because as you said, he has the quality, and Cork will obviously be looking to kick on from here. They'll be looking to finish further up the table than say Shelbourne did. And I know Gavin will say, "Oh, well, all we want is survival next season." But look, Cork City are a bigger club than Shelbourne. Shells fans won't be happy with me saying that, but Patterson, if Waterford stay down, if they don't go up through the playoffs, I think he's gone.
Yeah, I agree as well. Gavin, I suppose Athlone finished their season, like, it's disappointing, I suppose, but they did finish 3 points behind Bray and somehow finished 7 points above Cove Ramblers. I suppose for a good chunk of the season, it did look like they were going to finish bottom. Now it's up to them now to try and sort out in the next month or two to really look and get their recruitment in terms of management right as well ahead of next season. But I suppose they'd be pleased enough with their ending to the season overall.
Yeah, Keith. I mean, like we've had this conversation in our past, and we come on now and we give an honest review. And to be fair to Athlone, probably the last probably 6-7 weeks, they've really turned around, to be fair to them. And like, coming up against Waterford the other night, you're nearly expecting them to lose, and not because Athlone are bad, but Waterford are on fire at the moment. To be fair to them, bar the FA Cup semi-final, so like it was going to be a hard game for them to get a result out of that anyway. Yeah, look, if they can try and get their house in order, looking, there's potential there, and hopefully next season, you'd want to see a club like that down there. So hopefully next season that they can try and improve on that and at least get into the playoffs next year, and just try and get for everybody. It's like we're all League of Ireland fans, and you hate seeing clubs like that suffer. Like, so to be great to see them get their house in order and get sorted for next season, and I suppose as well from that point of view, as we've been on about players like Thomas Alua as well, like, to be interesting to see if he sticks around or what happens with him, or, like, I mean, being honest, it's like that, like we just said about Patterson there, and it's the same with Alua. You're on about Cork City, like, you'll be wondering, you'll be wondering if Colin Healy thinks that he's good enough, or he can make the step up, or he'll improve the City squad for next season. If, as I say, City try and consolidate and have a half decent season in the Premier next year. But you'll be looking at the likes of these fellas who stood out in teams that hadn't been really playing well. So, you have to give credit to Athlone, in fairness to them. They turned around, and as I said, it was just unlucky the night against Waterford that they just came up against a good team.
Yeah, Cork City 2, Bray Wanderers 0, and Barry Coffey 65, Keishin wrapping it up on 90 as well as to start the party. Good goal by Keishin, to be fair, as well, actually.
By the way, Keating's goal, the ball for the free kick was moving, so shouldn't have stood. It was in the wrong position.
Yeah, I agree. It actually was moving. You're right, though. It actually was moving, but I don't think anyone really cared at the point, even Bray, to be honest with you. But yeah, I will say with Cork, I think we've talked about Patterson, how important he was for Waterford, and obviously it's a team game, and But individual players, I think Cork have conceded 22 goals this season, by far the best defensive record in the league. They've lost 4 games. I'm going to largely put it down maybe to 2 players, Gavin. Ali Gilchrist coming in and Harrington and goal have been key to that backline, haven't they, for Cork? And that's laid the foundation for them, hasn't it, for the season?
Oh, 100%, Keith. Again, Gilchrist the other night, even when, when you think Bray are attacking or you think somebody's going to close them down, he just finds that yard or two of space to either go back or, move the ball sideways. It's just the composure on the ball and just never seems to panic. And it's just his physical presence as well. To be fair, Keith, you said it to me at the very start of the season and I didn't know much about the guy, but he's been outstanding. And Harrington as well, just his distribution, his size, and he made a couple of unbelievable saves during the season in key games where we needed the points.
I think there was a Waterford game, wasn't there, where he really
performed. Yeah, exactly, down there. I think at that time we were on about Waterford. I think we caught Waterford at a good time. We caught them in 2 games there away from home where, at the time, I know it's easy to say in hindsight, it's a big thing, but we caught him at the time and he was outstanding in one of those games. But again, like I said it again about Keating, I really like his work rate. Some people don't like him at all, but his work rate's phenomenal. I hope he stays with the club. I really do. But as I said, I think Harrington and Gilchrist have been huge. I suppose the other night, it was more the atmosphere than anything. There was a great atmosphere at the match the other night. To be fair, and I mean, again, I said it, it's fantastic. Even with the weather, there was still 5,500 at the game. It was a horrible night. But look, it's great, and it's been a great season. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next season with the club and what they do and what they recruit and who they get rid of and stuff like that. So a couple of interesting months ahead with the club, because I mean, if they really are to try and, as you say, not struggle, but at least, try and hold their own in the Premier League, they're going to have to make big changes. There's no doubt about it. And, the great thing about the club is that if they have half decent results, they'll still bring in the crowds, and that only bodes well for the club,
Absolutely, yeah. Huge congratulations to Cork again. I'm delighted to see them back. It is going to be interesting to see how they do in the off-season. Keith, for Bray, I suppose it's going to be interesting to see how they do in the off-season. But on the night, how did you find their performance?
It was a bit of a training game, Keith. I mean, you can speak all day long about Bray's performance and that they only lost 2-0, but Cork were very content just to play the ball around. Now, Bray had a chance in the first half that they probably should have opened the scoring with when I forget the player went around the keeper and put it into the side netting. Cork didn't have to come out of first gear, and they still won 2-0. It was typical end of season game, and a lot of the players were young, and they gave a couple of debuts and full debuts.
Darrell Lynch play incidentally in this game.
Darrell Lynch came off the bench.
Right.
So, I mean, it just goes to show you what the management team think of Darrell Lynch.
I would have had him as one of the better young prospects in the first division.
100%. I think we said that at the start of the season as well, didn't we? We were going through prospects, and
now I know he's had injury issues as well, hasn't he? But that doesn't help. But at the same time,
yeah, and Gavin will agree with me here. Bray were just, Cork were different gravy, and as I said, they didn't have to go first gear. McGlade came off. When I seen McGlade coming on, I was like, "There's only one thing going to happen here. He's got to score or set up a goal," and it happened. On his day, McGlade can be a great player if he keeps his head screwed on. He can be a fantastic player, and he can be a good addition for Cork in the Premier. But massive overhaul required at Bray throughout. Because if a new manager was to come in, and I don't think it will happen, but if a new manager was to come in, you're hoping that he can change the whole perspective and the whole thoughts of the players that are there. Because as we've mentioned on previous shows, players have come out and they've criticised the club about everything, and then I've said it over and over again. I feel so sorry for the players because they've been using tactics multiple times this season. And I was just going through a lot of the games, the results this season, and I can't count a game that we actually played the same 11 consecutively. And you played 32, 34 games maybe with cup games, and we haven't had a consecutive 11 out. So, big changes, and I don't know how it's going to go, Keith.
Well, guys, look, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching all season. Obviously, this is the final First Division review show of the season. We do have the playoff preview coming up as well. Finally, congratulations to Cork. Thanks to Gavin and Keith. Subscribe, hit your bell notification button, and once again, thanks for watching. Thanks, guys.